Hi, bleh. Hi, I'm Martin. I am a... Hi, I'm Martin. I'm an author from the UK. I am currently working on a space opera series. And today I'm doing the Authortube name tag, which I picked up from Colin Clark, who picked up from somewhere else, who probably picked up from someone else. The aim is to find a novel that you like or love or are indifferent to, but have a letter that's really difficult in your name, and you say why you like it. So, let's do that. As I say, my name's Martin, so let's start with M. I'm going with The Martian. Martian, comma, the. That's how I'd file it anyway. This was one of his books that was absolutely huge. I was really put off reading it because the idea of someone stranded alone on Mars seemed like a really depressing read, and I couldn't have been more wrong. It's really funny, and the audiobook is great. The fact it's first person really lends itself to that kind of storytelling, and the film is marvellous. For A, I'm going for Abandon's Gate, which is the third book in the Expanse series. It's when things really start to step up a notch, and I really enjoyed it. The characters start to come out into their own more. It's definitely something that's been a big influence on my own writing. The way the politics is handled, the way that there's things that are slightly supernatural but not quite, it's still quite grounded. And I just love The Expanse. For R, I'm going for Reap the Whirlwind. This is the third book in the Star Trek Vanguard series. Now, tie-in fiction doesn't often get much love, but then it doesn't always get to do what Star Trek's been freed up to do. This came out around 2008 when the TV series had all wrapped up and the films were kind of doing their own thing. It's set during the time of the original series, but written with a very modern viewpoint as to how a new Star Trek series might potentially be handled. They made a point to not simply write about the characters of a captain and a science officer, but we're on a space station, we have an admiral overseeing it all, an intelligence officer, you get a bit more political intrigue, and it's a really great space opera series that not enough people would give a chance because it's got that Star Trek tag on. But it is actually some of the best Star Trek out there. Now for T, I cheated a bit because we had The Martian for M, but I'm going with The Sun Also Rises, which was the first novel by Ernest Hemingway. I actually ended up reading this after it was used as a title for an episode of Battlestar Galactica. I knew I'd heard it before and I looked it up and ended up giving it a go. It's not the sort of thing I'd usually read at all, but for some reason I ended up really enjoying it and have gone on to read several more by Hemingway, and obviously he's a great writer. It's set in Paris in the 20s about the lost generation who've been through the First World War and don't know what they're doing with their lives. They basically go out, have food, get drunk, and decide to go and see the running of the bulls. The main character, Jake Barnes, is in love with Lady Brett, an English aristocrat who claims to love him back, but has some issues with a war injury he sustained. The book is about them realising that although they have very deep feelings, it will never work between them. And it has a really beautiful last line. For I, I'm going for Idle Ingredients. This is from the Sin de Jour series by Matt Wallace, which is a paranormal urban fantasy series set in a restaurant about a crew who cater for monsters. It's very funny, very well written, and not enough people have read it. And then finally for N, I'm going for Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I'm sure Richard Holiday was hoping I'd say Nightmare Tenant, but nah. Neverwhere was a BBC TV series in the mid-90s, which I ended up seeing when I was far too young, and it scared the crap out of me. I went back and watched it again a few years ago, and it looks like it was made for about 50 pence and good intentions. It has Lydia from Breaking Bad in it as Dor, and no one else particularly memorable. Sorry to that guy from Vicar of Dibley. The book actually came later, which I guess makes it a novelisation of a TV show. It follows a normal guy living in London who meets a young woman who's been injured and realises that there is another London below the one he knows. It was my gateway drug into all things Neil Gaiman, and I definitely recommend it. Anyway, that's me, that's my name, that's some books I like. Come back for something else next time.